You're the 7th NASA employee I've met in person.
Langley Research Center, man.
I've asked NASA employees this question.
Okay.
What do you think they say?
I'm not a physicist, so.
So I wanted to share with you because if I was walking around with a shirt representing hocus pocus booga booga nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 7th NASA employee I ran into, and I had my spyglasses on, so he didn't know I was recording, and he didn't run away. Let's get right into it. Oh, and warning, if you're a NASA fanboy, or you have emotional ties to cartoon fairy tales, you might want to skip this video. The largest flat earth group in the world, but they deleted it about a month ago. Facebook censoring everything.
That's
So if you want to find out the truth, you're going to have to test it yourself. Because the mainstream media is not going to come out and say, we've been lying to you all this time and stealing your money. That's just, they're not in the business of that. But I appreciate...
I definitely agree with freedom of speech, and that is fucked up.
So, NASA, did you know where, NASA in Hebrew, do you know what that means?
No.
It means to deceive or to lift up.
Really?
Yeah, beguile, like the same word that Satan beguiled Eve in the garden, is Nashah. It's spelled NASA, but it's got a little hyphen, so it's pronounced Nashah, but it's spelled the exact same way.
I gotcha.
So that's weird that the same word to deceive would be the name for the space company.
True, but it is an acronym too, so.
Well, they do that with a lot of things. Turn things into acronyms or put code into stuff. Like, did you know the UN maps 33 sections? Did you know that? And it's a flat Earth map. This is the UN logo, and it's divided into 33 sections. So 33 is the highest level of Freemasonry. It's also the percentage of angels that came down with Satan from heaven.
Okay.
So if there is like an elite that worships Satan, 33 is a big number to them. 33, C is the third letter in the alphabet. They do something called gematria, where they hide numbers and letters. So any CC is a 33. So CC on the email, CC on the closed captioning on the television, CC on the injections, CC on the motorcycles. M&M is also 33, tilted to the side or inverted or whatever. So M&M candy, M&M the rapper, Mickey Mouse, Marilyn
Is that a
Manson.
way to signal to other people?
It's just they're yeah, it's pretty
trying to understand the
symbolism.
logic of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
symbolism. They're hiding the truth in plain sight, which is they are occultists. They have a certain set of beliefs that they hide. It's called esoteric and exoteric. So they have interior beliefs, and then they project other beliefs on other people. It's like if you look up the Church of Satan, they'll say, we don't even worship Satan. And you're like,
they'll claim to be humanist.
yeah, and it's like, you're saying, well, why you call it be the Church of Humanists? That makes no sense whatsoever. So I really appreciate you stopping, because to be honest, most people walking around with a NASA shirt can't even stop their feet.
I've worked for NASA for 15 years.
You're kidding me, dude. You're the 7th NASA employee I've met in person.
Langley Research Center, man.
What are you doing for them?
What's that?
What do you do for them?
IT security.
All right, cool. So, like, is it high-level security?
It's not classified.
Okay,
If that's
like,
what you mean.
now that are you still doing security there? Do you do temperature checks and all that stuff now that COVID is going on, or like how's security changed?
Oh, well, the security landscape's changed just logically with everyone working at home. But for the most part, no one's going in.
Really?
Yeah, we're all working from home.
Wow.
At least at Langley Research Center.
Okay, interesting. And so I've met like 7 employees, and my YouTube channel is on that flyer, and I've asked a bunch of them same questions. One of them I asked him is, have you heard about the astronaut that drowned in space, allegedly?
Drowned?
He was on the live
American
feed.
astronaut?
He was on the live feed, and he said that I'm drowning, and they cut the live feed.
No, never seen that one. I do
So-
watch a lot of interesting YouTube stuff, though.
So, have you heard of the Natural Buoyancy Laboratory? It's where they have a full-size ISS, and they train in water.
Oh, with the suits in the pools?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they float, similar to how they float in space on the spacewalks.
Uh-huh.
But the ISS is allegedly going 17,000 miles an hour, but in the vacuum of space, right? So, I'll get to that in a second. So, I've asked 3 NASA employees gave me 3 different answers. One said it was saliva, one said it was sweat, and another one said it was a malfunction with the air conditioning valve or something. And I was like, well, why are you guys all giving me 3 completely different answers for one thing that happened? Yeah. That's weird. Have you heard?
I wouldn't give you an answer because I don't work with that team.
Have you heard of bubbles in space?
Bubbles in space?
Oh, you got to research this. So allegedly during these spacewalks, they have bubbles going different directions,
Bubbles?
and curving, and accelerating and decelerating.
Like gaseous bubbles?
Well, some astronauts have been asked
Or
about it. They move similar to bubbles underwater, but if you're on the ISS going 17,000 miles an hour.
So they're observing like particles.
Particles, yeah. They'll say it's like dust flaking off the ISS, but they shouldn't be curving. They wouldn't be curving or changing directions or accelerating and decelerating. They would just zoom across the frame if the ISS is doing what they say. But what our argument is that they fake it in pools, which is why they have a full-size ISS in the pool. So that's why we see bubbles in space. But here's the other question I ask all the NASA employees. Here's a good one.
Sure.
Are you familiar with the second law of thermodynamics?
Second law. Thermodynamics.
Entropy.
Yeah.
So if you put your hand on a stove, the hot will move to your hand and you'll get burned every time, right? If you puncture a car tire and the car tire has more air than the air around it, the air will deflate into the atmosphere, right? I mean, so that's entropy. High pressure systems move towards low pressure systems. Now, space is allegedly a vacuum, 10 to the negative 17 torr, which is super powerful vacuum. The Sandusky Research Center isn't even close to that powerful, and that's the most powerful vacuum we have. NASA has in Ohio. So they're claiming that that rests next to the atmosphere.
I mean, that what rests next to
the vacuum, without a barrier.
Okay.
So gas moves in all directions. It doesn't have like one independent vector. It's omnidirectional. It's going all over the place.
Okay.
So how could a vacuum contain all the gas we're breathing? I've asked NASA employees this question.
Okay.
What do you think they say?
I'm not a physicist, so.
I've ran into astronauts, bro. It's crazy. Now, you can't get a solid answer. So they have all kinds of different answers. They'll say, well, eventually gravity pulls it down. Well, we just agreed it goes in all directions. And gravity has one vector, down towards the Earth. But gas doesn't fall down towards the Earth.
Well, depending on how you think gravity works, I would imagine it works a little bit different with the theory of a flat Earth.
How do you think gravity works?
I think we're spinning, and that force is causing us to stay down.
But mainstream science asserts, like Brian Cox, have you heard of Brian Cox?
No.
He's a PhD astrophysicist from Europe. Like, he went to the Sandusky Research Center in Ohio, and he's in there saying gravity's not a force anymore. Einstein, with the theory of relativity and the bending of space-time, said it's not a force, it's the effect of the bending of space-time.
The reason the bowling ball and the feather fall together is because they're not falling. They're standing still. There is no force acting on them at all. There is no force acting on them at all.
So he said, when you see the bowling ball and the feather drop in the vacuum, the only reason you think it's falling is because of the background and the relative position to the ball and the feather. That's the religion of gravity. So, and he says the causing of that is masses in space-time, the difference of masses in space-time. So space and time, let's talk about that real quick. Time is a concept. It's not like a bucket or a flower that we could touch or that does things, right? It's not like heat, right? Time is a concept.
Yeah.
So space, it's no physical properties. It's the absence of particles. So how is the absence of stuff and a concept bending everything in this heliocentric model so that we have perfect constellations, perfect orbits, predictable eclipses? Like, if we're on a ball spinning, blasting through space, and gravity pulls everything together, you wouldn't have predictable. We don't even have a three-body equation for gravity. It's just M1 and M2, mass 1 and mass 2. So they can't even calculate Saturn and Jupiter and all these other planets' masses in space and their relative position to other objects and how much that gravitational pull would affect it. It's just all hocus pocus, booga booga nonsense. So I wanted to share with you because if I was walking around with a shirt representing hocus pocus, booga booga nonsense, I would want someone who loves me enough to, because I'm not trying to be rude, that to say, whoa, something's going on here. NASA's faking space and stealing $50 million a day. And I know that. It's not a belief. I know it for a fact. I've tested the Earth for 5 years. Here's a good one. Ma'am, do you sell levels?
Open hardware.
Levels, do they curve or are they flat?
They're flat.
They're flat. So sea level? What does that mean?
Sea level is the level of the sea.
Yeah, okay, so the oceans, right?
The ocean.
70%,
That's what I would- yeah.
70% of the earth is sea level,
Right.
and you just told me level means flat.
That level means whatever your level is on. Whatever you put your level on. If you want
Yeah,
it to
but
be
level
flat.
establishes the horizontal, and a plumb, you guys sell plumb bobs?
Yes. Up and down.
What aisle of plumb bobs?
They're gonna be on 15.
And those establish a vertical.
Vertical.
So on the heliocentric religion, there is no vertical. It's always outward from the earth. So plumb bobs technically should splay outward. They would be farther away at the top than they are at the bottom,
That's why they hang.
but they hang straight down, perpendicular to the earth, always at right angles. Ask any engineer, any architect that comes in here, when you lay a plumb bob down and establish a vertical, so level is a synonym for flat.
Right.
So when you establish a level, you're establishing that something is flat.
Right.
So sea level is not sea curving around a spinning ball.
Right.
Hold on, can I give you something?
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank
man,
you.
I really gotta go, but I do.
Dude,
appreciate
I know everyone's. You are awesome, bro. You stayed more than I expected.
No, no,
I have more flyers
You
here.
have the right to talk.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
There you go. God
Appreciate
bless
it.
you.
You too, sir.
What was your name?
Kyle.
Nathan.
Nathan.
My email's on there, Kyle.
Okay.
I really appreciate you, dude.
No problem.
You have
I'll
a-
check it out, and I'll tell the objective.
You have a blessed day, bro. That's all I ask. I'm not saying believe anything I say.
Hey, be safe.
That's what those guys say. They say believe everything we say. All right, later, bro.
I just want to end this video with a big shout out to everyone who supports my activism and keeps me going. Just got an email. Thanks so much, guys. And I'll see you in the next heavily censored and demonetized video. Remember, be the change you want to see on Flat Earth. Sharing is caring. Store treasure in heaven. And you can lead a globe earther to flat water. You cannot make them think critically about the shape of the earth. God bless.